अजान, क्या हाल है?
बिल्कुल ठीक. How are you?
Second album coming up, हाँ? Exciting.
Alhamdulillah, yes.
एक बड़े मजे का क्या था ट्रेलर, वीडियो ट्रेलर,
जी.
album trailer.
Album trailer.
आया, you're playing a gangster. And obviously what everybody noticed was beautiful young girls in the video. So what can we expect? Of course, I've heard the album
Yes.
and I have a theory about it,
Okay.
but I want to hear what your theory is.
I think the gangster shot was like my every boy's dream, right? To have a car explode, walk away from fire.
Of course.
So वो मेरा एक bucket list
Tick हो गई.
tick हो गया. So that was fun. And then I had beautiful co-stars to accompany me and add so much more to the trailer. There's no theory as such. I'm a big avid old school believer in albums, and I think for any musical artist, making that album and building that body of work is a rite of passage. We all have to do it,
Right.
you know. And history says, if we look at the past 100 years, almost every musician has done that. So I'm doing that, you know. Even though a lot of people would advise me today, कि नहीं single कर लो, EP कर लो, but there is a reason that, you know, all the greats that we look up to have 500, 600, 700 songs under their belt, which has made their legacy. And I think going through that is very important. So this is my second album.
Yeah.
Inshallah, many more to come.
Yeah.
But it's on that trajectory.
What difference do you feel that you experienced while recording the first one and the second one?
Sometimes I think that when I hear the first album, and we didn't put it out initially as an album, we put out like 3 singles, 4 singles, and then we put the audio out. But there was definitely less like knowing compared to this one. This one, इसमें काफ़ी चीज़ें सीखी हुई थी, काफ़ी चीज़ें पिछली वाली में जो गलतियाँ थी वो, you know, दुरुस्त करने की कोशिश की. लेकिन there was a rawness in the first one.
Right.
There's a famous saying with musicians, it takes your life to make the first album and then 2 years to make the second one.
And that's what happened?
Yeah, literally
nice.
that.
Okay.
Almost like 10 months to make the second one.
Okay.
Because a lot of the compositions in the first I had since I was very young, as a kid. This time round, they were like newer stuff.
Right.
I do find some songs in this were more thought out. उस वक्त it was literally like ये भी कर सकते हैं, ये भी कर सकते हैं, kid in a candy store type thing.
And I remember you once said कि you know कई गाने ऐसे हैं जो कि बहुत साल पहले बनाए, then you were sitting on them, और वो फिर ऐसे ऐसे रिलीज किए, लेकिन ये जो 8 गाने हैं,
नहीं, so इसमें there are a few that never came out.
Okay.
So in the first album I was very like, I would think a lot of people tell me कि तुम फिल्मी किस्म का म्यूजिक बनाते हो, so I would be like, oh ये composition जो है ये फिल्म में जानी चाहिए.
इसका क्या मतलब है?
I don't know. I still don't know. I just think that I'm like an overall.
फिल्मी म्यूजिक क्या होता है? मैं समझना चाहूंगी.
मुझे बिल्कुल नहीं समझ में आता. मुझे कोई भी डायरेक्टर कहता है आज भी ना किसी फिल्म के लिए कि फिल्मी टाइप गाना चाहिए.
हाँ.
And
इसका क्या मतलब है?
I nodded that point. जी, of course I understand. And then later I'm just like, bro, करना क्या है, मतलब क्या scene है type thing. Because if you hear this album, I think it's pretty filmy. Like it's pretty like dramatic. I think there's a notion that indie music is a certain style.
Right.
And then more maybe bolder emotions,
right.
louder
right.
orchestration and production may, you know, push you towards a filmier sound.
And hip hop has to be slightly angry.
Possibly,
right?
Yeah.
And yeah, तो वो है थोड़ा सा.
But it's just with this album, I actually stripped that all away. I was like, if I want to make a song that could potentially be in a movie, but I want it for the album, it's in the album. So like there's Husne Jaan in this,
right.
Or for instance, there's even Rang De, for example. These are like quintessential songs where I have played them while working on them to directors. And they're like, हमें एक ड्रामे के लिए दे दो या हमें.
मैं सुनते भी यही सोच रही थी कि you know ये गाना कहाँ किस ड्रामे में fit हो सकता है, you know. I don't know why, because
so,
your last disclaimer how
she has heard the whole album before everybody else.
दे दो. Yeah, I'm very honored to hear it before everybody else. लेकिन the last 2 songs we heard, that I of course was one कुछ अनकही का जो soundtrack था, beautiful songs.
Thank you.
And then Ishq Laka, my God, one of my ultimate favorite soundtracks from last year. बहुत ही खूबसूरत गाना था. लेकिन मैं, before we proceed and we talk about the songs and you know where they came from, obviously a very personal space, मैं थोड़ा सा अजान समी खान के अंदर का जो छिछोरा आर्टिस्ट है ना उसको थोड़ा निकालना चाहूँगी. जब मैं ये गाने देख रही थी और मैंने जब वो ट्रेलर वीडियो देखी तो उसमें कुछ 2-3 हसीनाएं हमें नज़र आईं. एक तो there's Aena Khan, and then there's you see Syra, Yousuf, and then you see Sanam, Saeed. And I'm thinking, यार लोग लड़कियां मान जाती हैं यार वीडियो में. अजान कहता है मेरी वीडियो में आके करो, पेरेंट्स मान जाती हैं. तो मैंने पिछली एल्बम का देखा है, एंड देन फर्स्ट एल्बम में यू हैड मायरा, यू हैड माहिन, एंड देन यू आल्सो हैड माया आई थिंक इन अ सॉन्ग. तो मैं कही लड़कियां मान जाती हैं, ये चक्कर क्या है. मैं पूछूंगी ज़रूर कि, एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स मेरा दिमाग और पीछे गया बिकॉज मैं तो पिछली जनरेशन की हूँ. फिर मैं गई, मैं अदनान समी खान के गानों पे गई. मैंने कहा यार वो वक्त था जब ही वाज स्टार्टिंग आउट, नॉट स्टार्टिंग आउट बट व्हेन ही बिकेम बिग. And then there was those larger than life videos with an Amitabh Bachchan and Rani Mukherjee, और हर गाने में एक बॉलीवुड की हसीना थी. तब भी हम सोचते थे कि यार ये कहाँ से, ये क्लाउड क्या है, ये कहाँ से आ रहा है. अब मैं दोबारा वही सवाल पूछ रही हूँ नेक्स्ट जनरेशन के, यार ये क्लाउड क्या है, ये कहाँ से आ रहा है.
देखिए अब्बा का तो मैं नहीं कह सकता हूँ, वो खुद ही जवाब दे दें अगर उन्होंने देना है.
हाँ ठीक है.
अपनी डिफेंस वो खुद हम दे दें.
हाँ.
I think in my case, in some situations they've been good friends of mine who I've worked for as a music director in their projects. So whether it's Mahira, whether it's Maya or anybody, you know, I've worked with them as their music director. So there's been a, you know, a friendship or relationship, which is why it's gone there. Mahira, for instance, has played a huge role in my musical career, and I've always said this, that she's been the biggest supporter, and even this album, like there was a whole session where she heard the whole thing and gave me bit by bit critique on that. And in terms of this album, for instance, Syra is a friend. Our kids are all friends. So I think
well done, अच्छे दोस्त बनाए. Good.
I think also there is definitely I won't
लड़के नहीं कोई दोस्त बनाए जो feature करें videos में. Are there no boys in the industry that you're friends with who have featured maybe as one of your co-gangsters? Just a thought.
That is a good idea.
Just a thought.
That is a good idea. I'm gonna take that note now.
I'm sure होंगे.
है बिल्कुल है.
बड़ा सोचना पड़ रहा है.
नहीं बिल्कुल है बिल्कुल है. I think I'm being cornered right now.
You are
no, being cornered.
It's an album about love. I mean,
it is an album about
right?
love.
Yeah.
I think, honestly speaking, I'm very, very lucky that there are two things. One is I have been able to work with great directors who have been able to make videos that now, alhamdulillah, we have a certain standard that people expect when they work with on songs of mine, where they know कि अच्छा इस तरह की video होगी, and they will be, for me, I want my co-actors to be represented in the best way.
Of course.
This is something actually my father also did back in his time. He's like, if anybody's appearing in my music, they should shine and look as good as possible. So for me, that has always been important. And then more than that, I think I'm very fortunate that people have liked the songs. I think I've been fortunate that whenever I have wanted to make a music video, whether it's the director, whether it's the co-actor, I have shared the song with them. And I've been like, only do it if you like the song.
Right.
That's the only criteria. And there have been times when people haven't liked the song and they've said, hame nahi karna, or maybe if you have another song and that hasn't worked out. So for me, that's the most important thing, because if they don't like the song, music videos are such a passion thing for me and for anyone doing them, that agar nahi acha lag raha, so there's no point.
There's no point. So coming to this album, it's all about love. और जो मैंने गाने सुने और sequence में सुने, so it starts with, at the way I saw it and heard it, I felt that Pehla Gana Maa, it starts with, of course, the first love, the purest form of love that a mother has for a child and a child has for a mother. And surprisingly, the last track, I feel, of course, is spiritual love, but it's also, for me, it threw me back to your dad's song.
Which one?
Lift Kara De.
Really?
Yes. When he says, "Meri arzi maan le Mola," मुझे ऐसा लगा कि उन्होंने जो उस गाने में कहा था, that's what you're saying in this song. Did that thought cross? Never.
But that's very interesting that you said, because Lift Kara De, whenever I would hear it, and everyone thinks that it's just a candid, fun song, but it's a cry.
Absolutely.
It's a cry.
Absolutely.
It's the person asking God for help.
And
then also
attention.
The comedic side of it, of all the things.
That's the video.
That's the video.
But jahan tak it is a cry for attention, for help, for support.
I never thought about that, but I definitely see what you're saying, and I think emotional resonance दोनों चीज़ों के अंदर maybe है for sure. Rang De for me again was a song which wasn't supposed to be in the album. I had composed it last year and I had felt कि maybe किसी project में डाल देंगे. You know, हम बहुत दफ़ा कहते हैं कि जी कवाली type चीज़ हमें किसी situation पे चाहिए. But then it for some reason had to be in the album because I tried to plug it into a couple of projects. And वो projects ही बंद हो गए.
Oh my God, okay.
Projects ही बंद हो गए. When
Okay.
you know, I literally I was like, oh,
हाँ.
इसमें इस film में डाल देते हैं, film बंद हो गई. किसी ड्रामे में वो ड्रामा ही नहीं बना. So then I was like, okay, I think this is, you know, I do believe that such things come from God, and whether they work or not is irrelevant. You know, they are part of your life for some reason. So I feel that that song is to be my song.
Right.
And that's why it's in the album.
That's why.
Yeah.
So how many types of love are you experiencing in life currently?
I think we all experience multiple, right? Like as
all
you
the
said,
time, absolutely.
So the thing is that, for instance, you're right, very rightfully, I do think about how an album flows. So the way the track list flows, I do think कि अगर 1000 लोग गाने सुनेंगे तो उसमें से maybe 5 होंगे जो back to front सुनेंगे. So that, and back in the day, it did used to make a difference on how the cassette was aligned or how the record was aligned, that it flowed in a certain manner.
Yeah.
You know, you had a bit of a journey. So I was like, okay, if anybody's going to sit and listen to it back to front, there has to be a logic to it. I don't want like, I take someone into a very, you know, this certain kind of love and then we put Ma after that. You know, it also makes you feel a bit icky, right?
Yeah.
Or spiritual love for that matter. So yes, Ma is right at the top.
And how did Ma react to it?
I wanted to compose something for her for a long time, you know, and I never thought that I could, or I had honestly had the skill set or the ability to do anything that could even remotely put a speck into what she's done for me.
Absolutely.
And this melody was there. We started writing it, and I remember the day I played it to her, you know, and it's just a small token of my, you know, how I feel towards her.
How did she react to it?
You know my mom?
Yes.
You know, she just smiled. You know, she's not someone who would say that much, but she just smiled. And I think a lot of my journey with my mother has been so public since I was a child.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what she's been through, you know. So it's one of those things which is less said and more felt. So anybody who I think will listen to this song, who was old enough and aware in the 90s when my whole childhood stuff happened, which people at that time are aware of, it was very public. Yeah. I think will understand the emotion of it. And those who don't, hopefully it's a song that just connects them to their mother. Or
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's a very calming song.
Thank you.
It's starting on a very sort of, you know, दिलासा देने वाला जो गाना है ना, वो है कि, you know, माँ है.
It's there's a verse in it where I say that जब सारा जहां तेरे कदमों पे था, तूने मुझे चुना. Something of that sort.
Yeah.
And that for me is a direct reference to that she was at the peak of her career when she decided to have me. You know, she married my father.
Yeah.
And at a time when heroine, having a child was like destruction to their career.
Yeah.
You know, so now that I'm in the industry and I know कि आज भी एक unfortunately एक heroine को आज भी बोला जाता है कि आप अगर माँ बनेंगी तो आपकी shelf life कम हो जाएगी, आपका फलाना nonsense that is said. Imagine what was said back then.
बिल्कुल,
you know, and for her to choose to have a child at that when you were like doing the biggest films in India, and you know you were Kapoor Saab's heroine, and right after that, you know, 2 years, literally a year and a half.
Yeah.
My parents got married in 93, 94. I was born in 94.
Yeah.
So, you know, to make that decision, for me, today, the gravity of it is visible. So it is, like, there are verses in it which are directly referencing to my mom. Yeah.
Right. And then the second song, it flows into Nadan Dil, which for me sounds like first love. Longing for a love or something that you're pining for. Does it flow in that direction? Can it be referred to your marriage perhaps, or to your children, because you also became a dad at a very young age? कुछ मुझे उसमें सुन के लगता है there's a bit of melancholy है,
I see what
longing
you mean.
है.
It does potentially reference to first love.
First love.
In the sense where, so I always ask myself this question, that what is, when people say कि you know प्यार एक बार होता है, you know, all of that. I do sometimes think that when you're in love, you do feel that this is it. When you fall in love with somebody, you do think यही है.
Yeah,
regardless if it's the 10th time or
this
if
is
it's
forever,
this is forever, this is it. But Nadan Dil is a song which the hook, meaning the main hook line, and a lot of it was composed for Superstar in 2017.
Okay.
2016, 17. And then the rest of it was written recently, like when I was working on this album. So there is a part of it which definitely I would say is referring to first love, whether it's towards my marriage or towards anything. I would say first love, kind of essence.
Was that your first love?
My marriage?
Yes.
Of course.
No, why first
Of
यार?
course.
12 साल पे भी किसी को first love हो
मतलब वो कुछ teacher हुई होंगी.
वो तो crush होगा ना?
Yeah, no, definitely.
That was first love. हाँ. So वो longing तो है गाने में.
Now that you say it, sure.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you something that I do. I try to detach a little bit.
Okay.
With the songs, just because it becomes very, it's going to sound very pseudo, so forgive me, but it becomes hard to, when we're making a song the way people make movies or whatever, you have to listen to the song so many times.
Yeah.
Like if I open my play counts on an album, each song is probably heard a few thousand times.
Really?
Yeah. Because while you're working on it, you know, again
obviously,
and again,
yeah,
multiple times a day you're hearing it. So if you attach such clear emotion to a song, at least I won't be able to work.
Right.
If every time I play the song and I'm thinking of like an ex-girlfriend and or whatever, you know, you're going to collapse. So I try to detach and make it objective that this is my work.
Right.
But yeah, when I think about it, definitely Nadan Dil has first love emotions in it.
And why was it the first song you chose to make a video on?
I think the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
When we were making Nadan Dil, I've tried like 2 or 3 variations of it, which are like with full music and arrangement and all that. I just felt that lyrically it had enough weight for it to just be, that's it. You know, a friend of mine heard it recently and she was like, oh, is it just piano in the back? And I'm like, yeah. Sometimes like some great songs that I've grown up listening to, they don't need anything else.
Right.
So we'll see if Nada Dil inshallah makes it there.
Yeah.
But I wanted to keep it raw, simple. So even the video is just me on the piano singing.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know,
yeah,
there's nothing else.
Yeah. Who are the people you take your songs to for advice or feedback?
For advice?
Yeah. गाना complete होता है तो किसके पास जाता है पहले?
But before it goes into the Ghana phase, right? I think there are 3 people who I will play a melody to. My mother and my kids.
Okay.
Best, most humbling experience always, right?
Although your dad is the one who's the musical genius here, but yeah.
To him, I will send the most refined final.
Okay, वरना बेसी.
बेइज्जती भी है, दूसरा ये है कि जब मुझे ही पता है कि इसमें 6 चीजें सही होनी है ना, तो मुझे वो नहीं सुननी उनसे. I rather go to him with the amount of experience he has. When I'm like, I'm done.
You want the honest layman opinion.
When I go to him, he's going to be like, mix खराब है, ये सही नहीं है, you know. So I rather go to him when I've done my bit.
ठीक है.
And now he can give me his expertise. Where it's like how to make it better. I remember when I had the demos of this album, and उसमें कुछ और गाने भी थे जो didn't make the cut. And I remember I played them to my kids. One had one headphone in, one had the other.
How old are they? Please, ये भी बता दें.
Ibrahim's 9 and my daughter Lily, she's 7. So I play them the songs back to back. They hear all of them. So after that, after a little while, they're like, I was like, what's your favorite? They're like, baby.
Baby, मैं कहने लगी थी baby.
So they're like, baby's our favorite. I'm like, oh, why? That's the only one we remember.
Because it's called baby. Yeah.
Possibly,
like,
right?
Yeah. I mean,
so I was just like, oh, okay, not because you like it, you know. So very humbling always. My mom is the same. Like my mom, if I play her composition, she'll be like, either she feels it or she doesn't. regardless of उसमें मैंने अपनी तरफ से क्या फनकारी की हो, either she likes it or doesn't. And she has a very, very good ear.
Yeah.
You know, so these three people, I'll play the rough version too. Matlab, no lyrics as well.
Right.
Melody. My father will be the last person I play to, just because I want his experience. There's no point in me going asking him to help me with basics.
Right.
You know, I want his experience.
Right.
In the middle, there are a few people, definitely. There is Asim Sab, who I take advice from Mahira for sure. Etisham Sab. And then my friends, Faizan, Nimra, like, you know, people close to me, my team, you know, who are there, who I will definitely play to and want their input. But yeah. But there have been times now in this album particularly where there'll be a song where I don't want input.
Yeah.
Another funny thing that started happening now is in the first 3 years of my career, I used to get that the Prodigy push, and everyone would be like, "Wow, you did this!"
Yeah.
This time that didn't happen, right? Because I'm like older now, so it's like I'm not like that much of a kid. So now I don't get the instant like, "Wow, beta, तुमने ये किया है?" You know, that doesn't happen now. It's just like, "Oh, okay,
okay, let's see what you've done." Yeah.
Let's see what you've
done.
done.
Let's see what you've done.
So it seems like harder work.
It's good, na? It's like you've grown up. You've grown up. You're not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
Baby though is upbeat, and I wouldn't say it brings out the kid in you, but it's fun. It's fun. It's like slightly flirtatious, and it's like, you know, baby be baby nahi. It's not babe. It's baby. Yeah, exactly. It's not babe. It's like,
A baby is it's the quintessential being led on song for me.
Totally.
You know, it's Jani milte hi baby baby. You know, so it's the quintessential. You're being led on. You know you're being led on, but you're like, chalo yaar, maza aa raha hai.
Are you hoping that Karachi or Pindi ka? Why do I think Pindi? Karachi, Islamabad, Pindi, Lahore ka har छिछोरा ये अपनी गाड़ी में चला रहा होगा. Yes. That's what we're hoping for.
We're hoping for that.
We're hoping for
100%.
that. Yeah.
100%.
है potential है इसमें.
I hope so.
हाँ, छिछोरगी का potential है.
So the thing is, from inside, I am a typical छिछोरा londa, right?
You hide it very well.
Thank you.
I don't know if that, I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
Yeah, I will take it as a compliment.
सुना है आपने recently कोई dubious dance वगैरह किए हैं छिछोरे किस्म के?
Dubious is the सही
good
choice of word. बिल्कुल सही है.
वो कभी दुनिया को मिले देखने को तो अच्छा रहेगा.
Someone steal Mahira's phone.
I think you should, steal Mahira's phone and make a video of baby from those like dances. I think that would be
that would be a reel from there.
That would be a really fun video.
Guys, please take notes.
Yes.
Reel from Mahira's wedding. For
baby, yeah, that would be a really fun video.
Yes, it would.
I think it would, yeah.
I think, so when I'm making songs, if I'm making like a Nadan Dil or a Husn Jahan or a heartbreak song, I genuinely am not even kidding. I'm thinking about the guys who are like really upset on TikTok, who are making like, you know, ग्लिसरीन डाल के टिकटॉक्स.
Okay.
I'm like उनके दिल में कैसे
ये बेबी उनके लिए है?
नहीं नादान दिल
नादान दिल. Okay.
मैं बोलता हूँ उनके पास कैसे, I want them to be like,
ठीक है,
लड़की ने छोड़ा ये गाना लगाएंगे, टिकटॉक लगाएंगे, वो जब टिकटॉक देखेगी तो आएगी वापस.
ओह किच्ची किच्ची जिसका दिल हुआ.
That, and then baby is for my boys who are going to be going out on Sunday to the beach. Silence से उतार के उनको कौन सा गाना चाहिए, उनको baby उनके लिए है, मन मर्जी उनके लिए है. So I genuinely think about that. Like I want, so far I've never really gotten like the critics to acclaim my music, very honestly.
I'm not a music critic.
No. Like the you know, highbrow musical people have not. I've gotten love from these guys, who are like the avid listeners. Yeah. So for me, I'm like making
that's what matters. That's what matters. So how is Azaan as somebody who would? How are you with pickup lines? I mean, गाने तो pickup lines से बना दिए हैं, but how is your love life otherwise?
My love life?
I'm not asking you to like indulge in your personal
details.
You're not. You can if you want to, but I'm just thinking एक बंदा एक music album बनाता है which is like devoted to love, all forms of love. तो माँ तो हमें पता है, we know who your mother is, we also know who your ex-wife is. But उसके बाद से जितनी longing है और जो भी babies हैं और ये कौन है?
She's the third person who's attacked me with babies, by the way. Fahad bhai did it on Jito as well.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
हाँ, ये babies कौन है?
नहीं, कोई babies. देखें, let me be honest. Let's get down to the, you know, basics, right?
I'll know if you're skirting around the issue, but yeah.
I'm not skirting around the issue. I'm saying that to put out an album every year and a half or 2 years, 100% my team is here as well. I have to be in the studio at least 8-10 hours a day. So
So
now
no-
you're left with very little baby time,
right,
right?
right.
So because there's not much baby time left,
Ah,
then I have real babies, 2 of them,
yes, yes,
right?
yes.
So I have to take care of them.
Right.
So it leaves very little time for dubious
No,
behavior.
I'm not falling for
So
this.
I think
No, I don't
I'm
believe.
saved for now.
I don't think
If the next album takes more than 2.5, 3 years,
I
you can definitely.
I don't think I'm convinced by this answer. I don't think I'm convinced at all. We will find out more. मैं जितनी babies ये feature हुई हैं videos में.
Oh, they're absolutely. They're friends or colleagues.
Right, right. ठीक है. ठीक है, मान लेते हैं. अब obviously मैं ज़्यादा तो नहीं खरीद सकती. आप ही रहते हैं दिल में. ये तो declaration of love है. तो बेबी के बाद ये declaration of love है. तो किसी को के लिए तो सोच के किया होगा ना ये.
आप ही रहते हैं दिल में.
हाँ.
So from a musical standpoint, आप ही रहते हैं दिल में is.
ये वो वाला प्यार है जो आप कहते हैं कि यार आपने कहा है बाखुदा तुम ही हो, you know, तुम ही रहते हो दिल में. तो ये वो वाला लव है जो बंदा कहता है यार this is for ever and ever, हो या ना हो. अभी वो लेवल ऑफ मैच्योरिटी मुझे लगता है सीक्वेंस में नहीं आई कि ये हो इटर्नल लव.
So आप ही रहते दिल में for me I would. No, I'm not daring to compare it, but I do feel that it is, I would say, like my attempt at a modern day ghazal zone.
It is, yeah,
a bit
for
that
sure.
space. Also, it's me tipping my hat, virtual hat to my dad's style of music. It's in terms of the arrangements, in terms of how the melody phrasing is done, and all of that. It's kind of how he would do stuff.
And एक दो जगह पे you even sound a bit like him because he used to tweak his voice in a certain way. I don't know the technical terms, but I heard that. I heard you do that too.
So this was a melody which, honestly, for a long time I would run from because I would be like, no, it sounds like his stuff. I shouldn't do it. And this time around, I was like,
embrace
why
it.
not?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So for me, this song particularly is that space. Emotional context-wise, it is more about. It's about meeting somebody you have had a past with.
कौन मतलब?
Oh yeah, not letting that go. Anyway. Moving on.
ये तो हम हर गाने पे फंस जाएंगे अगर इस तरह किया तो. But yeah, sure. But no, I also understand that as an artist, you're also dedicating it to all the young men and women who will be listening to the music. And of course, people go back to ex-loves and, दिल में तो रहता ही है first love. नहीं भूलता इंसान.
I think it's about आप ही रहते दिल में definitely about an encounter. It's about an encounter. It's about unsaid things. It's about lacking closure. कि आप किसी से मिले हैं या आपका किसी के साथ कोई ताल्लुक रहा है, and you meet them again and it's awkward. And there is a beauty to that awkwardness. When there is stuff unsaid and then you leave it there and you know it's unsaid and for whatever reason you can't address it again.
Right.
You've moved on. So I'm trying to encapsulate that emotion with that song,
right.
where you know that. Why is there this twinkle in the eye? If everything's over, then why do you care?
Right.
Why is there why are there still tears if it's been?
It doesn't hurt anymore.
Doesn't hurt anymore. Why does
if
it
it
matter?
doesn't hurt anymore? Yeah.
So I think that is definitely what that song.
और मैं सोच रही हूँ सबके बीच में ये गैंगस्टर का रोल कहाँ से आ रहा है ये वीडियो.
It was literally the boy in me being like, I remember I sat with Nabil bhai and Fizaji and they were like, ये इसका visualizer है, ये इसका visualizer है, ये इसका है.
हाँ.
अपने गाड़ी फाड़ सकते हैं कोई. And they were like, गाड़ी क्यों फाड़नी, इसका लेना देना क्या है? And then that was my फरमाइशी visualizer. And they bugged me a lot about it.
कोई इस एल्बम में कोई एक भी गाना ऐसा नहीं कि मैं उसको सोच के कहूँ कि इस पे गाड़ी फिर भी नहीं फटती भाई.
So the गाड़ी फटना is मन मर्जी.
Is मन मर्जी. Yeah. अब हमें सोचना पड़ेगा कि मन मर्जी.
There is now when I think about it, if I add some sort of like symbolism to it, it is also that part of me that just doesn't give a shit, right?
ठीक है.
That's just like.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Sure. So मन मर्जी is that song.
और कौन है co-star उसके अंदर?
Nobody.
That's just you.
Yeah.
Right. Is different
visualizers
for, yeah.
So basically we have like for now we have one music video which is Baby's music video and then we have these visualizers for each song. I wanted कि इस दफा the decision के कौन से गानों के music videos बनने चाहिए, people should decide. So we've made visualizers for each song other than Baby and based off of how the feedback comes in, we'll maybe potentially do 2 more videos.
Right.
But I wanted it to be a bit democratic. Okay, people decide कि कौन से गाने पसंद है और इनकी videos होने चाहिए.
Right.
Today, fortunately, we don't need a music video for a song to work. anymore.
Absolutely.
You know,
but it's
so
always fun.
yeah, it's fun.
Video is always fun. I just feel that जिनकी videos आती हैं वो resonate ज़्यादा करते हैं गाने.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somehow, you know.
Like for instance, so with Nada Dil, I've thought of tons of video concepts, but I do think sometimes where, like Adele's song "Someone Like You," right? It has the simplest video of her walking through a house or something.
Yeah.
I think because uski video didn't taint anybody's idea, everybody made their own. You know, it's like the book versus the film. You know, so I felt the Nada Dil requires a very simple video,
so that people can make their own.
It can
make their own picture.
Hopefully,
yeah.
But yeah, coming back to the gangster, that was just me.
वो दिल में ही है. वो gangster दिल में रहता है. Husn Jaan, of course, is Qawwali. Experimentation with a bit of a Qawwali sound.
Yes.
ऐसा ऐसा हम अब spiritual mode में जा रहे हैं.
So that it's a zone that I've explored since quite like three other songs. So that's a zone which I'd first done with Galat Fehmi in Superstar. Then I did in Iklamha, in the first album. Then I did in Ibadat in Ishkila, right?
Yeah.
It is just this time round, a part of me didn't want to do it because मुझे लग रहा था कि लोग बोलेंगे यार ये तो बार-बार वही करता है. But then every artist should have a signature, right?
Absolutely.
And so I was like, no, we'll do it. Why shouldn't we do it? We have other songs, but we'll do this in one song.
Yeah.
So Husn Jaan came from that. It was me collaborating with A.M. Turaz Sab on the lyrics, for the fourth time now, you know. So he is incredible. So Husn Jaan is, yeah, it's not technically, it's not Qawwali.
No.
It's but it is what they would call ang Qawwali ka.
There is. And जहाँ तक lyrics की बात है और उसके mood की बात है, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि at this point in the album, and if I see it as different stages of love in a person's life, ये वो stage है कि जब प्यार मिल गया है, नजर मतलब identify हो गया है, muse मिल गया है, अब वो हासिल हो ना हो फर्क नहीं पड़ता. There is like an existence of love which just makes you happy. So
yes, Husn Jaan for me is, if anything, हम जो filminess की बात कर रहे थे ना, it is like there's a whole story that runs in my head when I hear Husn Jaan from the beginning. It starts off with a boy being in love with this girl, them wanting to be together, and eventually he dies. That is the story in my head. That's always. Do you think that's the ultimate love story? No, it's not. But it's just because you do reference Heer Ranja somewhere in one of your songs. In Man Marzi, yeah. So that's the thing. In Husn Jaan is a Romeo and Juliet structure for me. It is that the classic love story is that they don't make it eventually. So that. लिख गया यार शेक्सपियर बदबख्त. Yeah, हम फंसे हुए हैं इस चीज के साथ. क्यों? Why not? Why not? So Husn Jaan उस तरह से is that world. It is structured in my head. If anything, I would say Husn Jaan is not very personal to me compared to the other songs. Okay. I love making it, but I in no way, like maximum the line in it, which is, you know, बेताशा तड़प के लिपटे आवाज बहुत दिन तरस के मिले हैं हुस्न जां से. Maybe that line could, you know, potentially I could say is personal. Your favorite is Man Marzi. Depends on my mood. But it is one of your, I think, comes in your top 3. Man Marzi is definitely a song which is very like risky for me. Like I've never done a song like that. It's also me collaborating with a new music producer. Okay. Yeah, Talal Qureshi produced Man Marzi and Baby. So it was new for me. New space, new style. But I enjoy it. There's something fun about it. It's also dark lyrically, by the way. Yeah. Yeah. How so? Like the line in it, which is के लैला से मजनू हीर से रांझा मिल जाएं जैसे वो मिले थे, वो कभी मिले नहीं थे. Yeah. So it's borderlines, certain things के, you know. Tragic. Yeah. It's borderline tragic. Yeah. है, बिल्कुल है. No, I mean I'm just sounding very melodramatic. You are. It's okay. You're allowed to. I'll yeah. We'll move from the melodrama a bit, but and the last song, of course, Rang De, is the ultimate spiritual journey of love. Maula se mangna is a reference to that as well. And मैंने तो कहा मुझे तो लगा कि it's kind of an ode to lift कराते.
which you say
I
nothing.
think it's really interesting.
हाँ,
मुझे
मुझे तो
कभी भी
बहुत
नहीं
लगा।
लगा था, लेकिन when you say it emotionally, yes, absolutely. If you lift करा दे, for me, अगर आप उसका fun element side पे रख दें, is out and out cry, and so is in many ways it's also रंग दे.
So sing it a little bit. मौला वाला part रंग दे का.
मौला मुझको रंग दे, मौला मुझको रंग दे, मौला मुझको रंग दे.
मेरी अर्जी मान ले मौला.
Yeah, I agree with you. There is a
similarity.
Yeah.
And it's obviously in your subconscious, that song. And
it's one of my. So I've always said my father is I'm one of his biggest fans.
Yeah.
So whenever when I was younger, I would shy away from a similarity. Today I don't. If there is any, I take it as an honor.
Embrace it. Absolutely, absolutely. Would you say you're a performer? Would you be good singing all these songs on stage?
Yeah. I always compose songs keeping in mind how they would translate on the stage.
And you like performance. You like acting as well. साथ साथ नहीं हुई लेकिन दोनों चीजें.
साथ साथ नहीं, मुझे करनी नहीं है.
नहीं करनी. हाँ.
I think something suffers always. So for instance, we spend like when I say we, I mean myself and my team. We spent like the past 10-12 months finishing the album, making the album, finishing it. Now there will be a break, and I want to take up some acting projects.
You want to take up acting projects?
Yeah, we're in the midst of finalizing them.
You're nominated for Ishqila. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
How does it feel? Because I know you got a very mixed reaction to Ishqila.
Yeah.
It wasn't all good.
No.
So how do you feel?
So there are two feelings. One is the biggest mistake anybody can make, if they know me, is to say you can't do something.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll do it.
No. I'll make everybody's life living hell until I don't do it.
Okay.
Right? So that is one thing. So it's like, don't say it to me. Instead, be like, chalo, tum ye kyun nahi kar lete? You know, cooking is a good profession. Udhar chale jao. But if you've said, ki Azaan, ye nahi karna. And over here right now, even while we're doing this interview, there are a few people who've known me for years. Okay. Hey, Khurram bhai, one of them, he's known me for years. If you tell me, ki Azaan, tum hockey अच्छा नहीं खेलते, कल सुबह 5 बजे मैं
हॉकी फील्ड पे
होऊंगा, और फिर आप मुझे वहां से लाना बड़ा मुश्किल होगा.
तो लोगों ने कहा यार गाने आप बहुत अच्छा बनाते हैं.
हाँ, एक्टिंग नहीं करो
यार.
3 साल बाद बात करेंगे हम.
ओके.
3 साल बाद बात करते हैं.
ठीक है.
सब अपनी डेट्स चेक कर लें, 3 साल बाद हम बात करेंगे. That's the problem. I've always been like this.
That's good. You're
I don't know if it's good or not. It can be very tiring. It can be very futile.
It can be frustrating.
And frustrating.
Yeah. And hurtful.
Yeah.
I mean, you're exposing yourself to a lot of vulnerability.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. You're
I don't know if it's good or not. It can be very tiring. It can be very futile.
It can be frustrating.
And frustrating.
Yeah. And hurtful.
Yeah.
I mean, you're exposing yourself to a lot of vulnerability.
Yeah. But it's how I am. Right? So, frankly speaking, when I got into music, I had a bunch of people who said, "Yeah, नहीं music नहीं वो अब्बा करते हैं, तुम छोड़ दो, तुम नहीं करो, तुम कुछ और करो."
अरे?
Yeah. So it's for me, every time that happens, it's like you're feeding me. So if I see a troll that says something about me, I'm like, "Buddy, you're feeding me. You're not. It's good. You're doing a good job. Like you're not like if you know, indifference is the worst thing, right?" So when Ishqila happened, it was. I've tried to be very objective about what the good came from it and then what I can improve, of course, you know. But it is something that I really enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we're in a business. If there are enough people that want me to work on stuff of theirs that they want to invest in.
Sure. Whenever the first time I heard your music, I was like, yeah, you're a natural. It comes naturally to you. I think it's in your genes, it's in your blood. बहुत ही आसानी से, subliminally, you know, you just glide into it. Your songs are a pleasure.
Thank you.
When I watched Ishqila, I was like, it's not coming naturally to you. You're trying. You're not necessarily bad at it, but you're not particularly good at it either.
Sure.
But I would love to see you try. You know, ऐसा नहीं था कि यार नहीं मुझे नहीं देखना. Let's tell Azaan कि यार ये नहीं करो. ऐसा नहीं था. I would like to see you do more roles. But then, are you getting the right scripts? Because वो भी तो बहुत limitations हैं. Are you getting the right co-stars? Because the co-stars you're choosing for your videos may work very well in the videos, but they will not work well in a drama.
I think so. There are two parts of this. One is, firstly, thank you for liking my music. But again, music has not been something. Yes, I've done it for very long. So before anybody heard my music, I've been composing since I was like 7-8 years old. So it took me very many years of composing bad stuff to get to a point where people liked what I was composing. Yeah, वो सुना नहीं है. So that was that growth process. So I can play compositions to people around me that I did when I was much younger, which are like unbearable, frankly speaking. You know, unbearable to me. I play them and I'm like, छुपा दो ये. So that isn't true. I'm grateful that it feels like that, and I think I strive to try and make my music sound effortless. So if that is something that's translating, I'm grateful for that. When it comes to acting, I've had where it goes, we will see.
Right.
But definitely less time under my belt. I've done one acting project, you know. So for me, when I went into that project as well, first question I asked them was, why are you trusting me with this?
Yeah.
You have two of the country's biggest
that's a question a lot of people asked as well.
Yeah,
that why absolutely. Did the production house trust you with it, you know?
But then again, the question comes in, which is that in the past year and a half, a lot of amazing scripts have come my way even after that. And whether they come my way because I can, the same question begs an answer. Why?
You tell me.
You know, I think you should tell me. It's like, I ask myself the same question, which is, I'm like, okay, I get, alhamdulillah, today certain types of films and soundtracks to do as a musician. And okay, fine, there's a track record. But why am I getting all these scripts, or why have I gotten them? And a part of me feels like this, as you said as well, people, they have a belief. They think there is something that to be explored there. I respect that belief enough to say that I will not take it for granted. I will not just do acting and music side by side. I will not just try to, you know,
exhaust yourself, or
if I'm doing one thing, I have to do my best.
Yeah.
I have to do my best.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if I don't feel from inside that I've done my best, then I will not take it up. I won't say कि जी दिहाड़ी करने के लिए मैं दोनों कर रहा हूँ, दोनों के पैसे आ रहे हैं, all of that stuff. So it'll be one by one.
So unfortunately, the word nepotism does come up and will continue.
I carry the flag everywhere.
You carry the flag. You're a nepo baby. Yeah.
No, I am one second. I am the nepo baby.
You are the ultimate nepo baby.
Please.
अब अगर मैं आपकी कोई rival हूँ, मैं कहूँगी यार अब ये अजान है. He's Zeba Bakhtiar and Azaan Sami Khan the son. चलो Azaan Sami Khan तो चले गए इंडिया. ज़ेबा बख्तियार रह गई. उनकी बहुत इज्जत है और बहुत लोग उनको पसंद करते हैं. बड़ा उनका क्लाउट है, इसलिए इनको ड्रामे मिल जाते हैं. वरना यार कौन एक्टर है ऐसा, लोगों के ख्वाब होते हैं. पहला प्रोजेक्ट उनको मिले यमुना जैदी और सज्जल के साथ. वाओ, इनको मिल गया. फिर ये कहते हैं कि यार मैं तो नहीं साथ साथ करता, आई डोंट नीड दिस, मैं ड्रामा अपने म्यूज़िक करूँगा. फिर जब मेरा दिल चाहेगा, स्क्रिप्ट तो मुझे बहुत मिलते हैं, आ भी रहे हैं, आई विल डिसाइड कि मुझे किस साथ करना है. फिर मैं सोचूंगा कि यार लड़कियां तो आ ही जाती हैं, बेबीज़ तो आ ही जाती हैं गानों के लिए, मगर मैं सोचूंगा कि मैंने अपना ड्रामा जो करना है वो मुझे किसके साथ करना है, किसके साथ मैं अच्छा लगूंगा, किसके साथ वर्क करेगा ये. तो मैं, लेकिन नेपोटिज्म, बट नोइंग योर मॉम, आई नो शी इज़ नॉट मेकिंग एनी कॉल्स टू पीपल, but I also know you. I know that you're an extremely respectful person. You're professional. लोग आपको पसंद करते हैं, आपकी वाकई दोस्तियां हैं, लॉयल्टीज हैं, मगर इन सब की से भी वो नहीं निकलता जो आप निकाल लेते हैं in terms of productivity. तो ये किधर से हो रहा है? ये लोग पूछेंगे ना ये सवाल.
I think they can firstly, my parents have never made calls for me.
Yeah.
That is, like, nobody can ever say that is why that has happened.
Yeah.
I think I ask myself the same question sometimes कि ये projects, why have people considered me in them? I do think there is a belief. Also, let's not forget that I've grown up around all these people. So for instance, compared to, let's say, other kids who have grown up in the industry, I literally, a lot of them haven't lived here. They've lived abroad. They've come when they're old and all that. I've literally lived here.
Yeah.
You know, I've been on sets my whole life.
Yeah.
From every director, DP, producer, they've literally seen me grow up. You know, so there is that apna bachchapan which I feel, and I feel very protected based off of that. I feel a lot of, like, my closest friends, a lot of technicians, you know, who are behind the camera. So there is that aspect of it. I take every privilege that I have very seriously. When I say that, oh, I don't want कि मुझे side by side नहीं करना, that is not from a privileged space. It's from a place of I know कि दोनों professions की कितनी requirement है, उनकी इज्जत देनी पड़ेगी उन दोनों चीज़ों को. अगर मैं बोलूँ कि जी मुझे साथ साथ करना है तो मैं I will not do 100%. Right. And I'm very aware that whether it's as a music director, whether it's as a singer, whether it's as an actor, there are way more people there who are struggling to even get half the opportunities I have. So for me, I have to try and make the most of them. Right. So if I've said कि मैं album कर रहा हूँ, तो मैं अपनी काबिलियत की 100% ट्राई मारूंगा कि मैं बेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट अपने तरीके से कर सकूं, whatever that is. ठीक है. Tomorrow if I do act and there are people who are considering me, then I need to give that 1,000%. Right. You know, where I have to park music for a little while and I have to say, okay, now I'm doing this. Right. So that is where it comes from. And the truth is, if people don't like what I do, I won't get more work. That's not going to change. Absolutely. But you have a passion for it and you love it. You enjoy it. That's all I know. That's all I know. No, music and acting. You enjoy acting. It's my life. Yeah, that's all you know. I've grown up in this. Yeah. I don't know anything else. For me, the heat of a light is the most comfortable feeling in the world. I've seen it since I can remember. So when you're thinking of your videos and your music videos, you're thinking of different co-stars who can be present in different videos. जब आप ड्रामों का सोचते हैं, and when you look at all the young actresses who are around, who do you naturally incline towards? So honestly speaking, I've never ever thought about that. हाँ क्यों नहीं? कभी भी नहीं. Honestly, कभी भी नहीं जिंदगी में. I'll tell you why. In music videos, yes, of course. Music videos, yes. Because in acting, there's so much I need to do. There's so much I need to learn. Yeah, come on, Azaan. No, I swear. बंदा रात को सोते तो सोचता तो यार इस फलाने के साथ I would look so good on screen. इस actress के साथ honestly speaking, कभी नहीं सोचा. Not for dramas, not for acting. फरिश्ता है आप. नहीं, बिल्कुल भी नहीं. लेकिन म्यूजिक वीडियोस में बहुत सोचता हूँ. बहुत ज़्यादा सोचता हूँ. लेकिन in acting, it's just that there is so much more I need to do. But wish list तो होगी ना? Yeah, इस वक्त नहीं है. मतलब मेरी wish list was Sajal and Yumna. Alhamdulillah, I was able to. And the truth is, I learned a lot from them. Of course. They're fantastic. Bilkul. Now, for me, it's more like, my wish list, and when I'm going to sleep at night, I'm thinking of directors and writers, frankly speaking. कि, इन directors से काम करना है, इन writer की script पे काम करना है. For me, that is you know what? I don't believe you. You know what? I don't believe you. I swear. आप music videos का आपने पूछा नहीं? वो ज़रूर होगा. वो ज़रूर होगा. नहीं, मैं म्यूजिक वीडियोस को क्या पूछूं? मायरा की तो शादी हो गई है, सनम सईद की भी शादी हो गई है. देखिए वो अब टाइम जा चुका है कि आप काम के बहाने से मिले किसी से. हाँ, exactly. अब हम बहुत प्रोफेशनल इंडस्ट्री में काम करते हैं. नहीं खरीदती मैं ज्यादा, ऐसा नहीं है कि सबकी शादी हुई है. कॉफी में पीने की कोशिश करो, खत्म नहीं हो रही है. नहीं हो रही, हो जाएगी. ऐसा नहीं है कि अब जितनी लड़कियों ने को एक्टिंग की है उनकी सबकी शादी हुई है, तो मैं नहीं खरीदती. चलो मैं नहीं जाती वहां पे. आई एम अच्छा बच्चा. ठीक है. I'm an अच्छा बच्चा. You said I'm the industry का अच्छा बच्चा. You are the industry का अच्छा बच्चा. बिल्कुल ऐसे मैं नहीं खुदा ना करे ये कह रही कि no you're not. But मैं कह रही हूँ एक natural सी बात है कि बंदा सोचता है कि यार okay इस फलाने के साथ मेरी अच्छी जोड़ी बनेगी और I would love to work with so many because like we discussed these days in our reviews as well. Fresh pairing is what is working right now. Okay, one second. Because you. Oh, you're gonna now ask me the same question. Yeah, no, I'm gonna ask you a question. No, you can't do that. Which is, see, you're somebody who knows what's going on, right? So who do you think I should act with? Who should you act with? I would like to see fresh pairing. So what should that pairing be? No, it's somebody new that we've not seen before. Who? जब देखा ही नहीं है तो मैं किधर से निकालूं? मतलब who should the girl be? What do you think? Who should the girl be? I think this is a very good question. No, like for example, I would love to see you with somebody like Aena, who's very young, just won, best debut for 2023. She's extremely talented. I would love to see you with Aena, someone like that, someone young who's new, fresh, because you look very young and you look even younger on screen. So you can't be with a seasoned actress anymore. Who else do you think? I think Aena is fantastic. Who else? You would look really good with Syra. With Syra? Yes, Syra. You would look really good. Syra is amazing. Want me to go on? Yeah. I think you would look really good with Maheen as well. Yeah. One of your videos. Yes. You want me to go on? Yeah. No, I'm saying now I can think because you've said given the options. All producers out there, Amna ji has given the
Yeah, I
verdict.
mean, it has to be fresh pairing, right? We don't want to go with even Syra. I would say that maybe we've seen a lot of Syra as well, although she looks very young.
So I think our teams, the visualizers we did, usme she is in the she's in Aap Hi Rehte Hain Dil Mein, and that's really cool the way it's been shot. Yeah, I think we
Syra
all.
is very cool. Yeah.
And the way it's basically set in like pre-partition times, so it's a pretty cool visual.
Right.
Yes.
You're not giving me anything actually. You're not giving me anything. I will make up things. I will make up stories. No, that's okay. That's okay. You stay in your acha bacha zone.
Acha bacha.
Acha bacha zone. Yeah. ठीक है. But we want the music to get out there, right? We want the music to do well.
You know, one thing I do want to say, in the afternoon when you sent me a screenshot of your page, I was probably the happiest I've been in months. Because for any, whether it's a filmmaker or musician, the fact is someone even took the time to listen to it. And, you know, it just made me very happy. So thank you for that.
No, you're welcome. Thank you for sharing the music with me before it goes out, because I feel other than Spotify, जहाँ पूरी album आप एक गो में सुन रहे होते हैं, you're right, album नहीं सुनते हैं हम लोग एक गो में, sequence में तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं. तो मुझे अच्छा लगा सुन के, you know.
Thank you.
It took me back to like the 80s and the 90s.
Because what happens is that now, once it's on the platforms, whether it's Spotify or any platform, then potentially 2-3 गाने ही हैं that end up.
For sure.
You know, and then a very avid listener of any artist, like there are a few artists that I am a huge fan of, so उनके मैं जाके पूरे सुनूंगा. लेकिन most people will hear the one hit or the two famous songs only.
So my last question, and coming of course from the trailer video and the visualizers that you've released, you aligned with Filmwalas, with Nabil and Fiza. How did that happen?
So we have been.
You quoted Ehtishamuddin to be one of your favorite
directors,
Azaan Sami, and they're both really seasoned directors.
So Nabil bhai and Fiza ji, we had been meeting for a while over different things that we wanted to do together.
Of course, Azaan, because nobody says no to you. Yeah. I don't know why you keep looking here and there for like reassurance.
I'm very grateful that people have been kind and supportive towards my work, and that is, you know, the biggest honor, honestly. But we had been meeting for a while on different things to potentially do. In the first album, we were supposed to do a music video, then we weren't able to do it. They've been very busy with their films and things like that.
They weren't directing Patak De, that project.
No. So we were meeting for random, like, you know, we'd socially meet somewhere and we'd say we should do something together. Then this time round, I was very curious on how I wanted to put the music out. I met them and I was like, okay, what if we make it like connect it all? You know, what if we do an album trailer? You know, then they got excited about that. And the one thing I've always wanted in my music is there to be a storytelling aspect of it. I try to avoid videos that are just vibey.
Right.
You know, there should be some story, some narrative going on. Right. So because they're filmmakers, if you see my previous videos, they've all had some story. You know, whether Main Tera, Ek Lamha, Tu, any of them. So this time around, I was like, let me speak to them. They heard the album. They were like, they had some fantastic ideas. So it just happened, and then it was a lot of fun. Like they were so much fun to work with, and new experience for me.
Well, they're very talented.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're very talented and they're fun as well.
They're fun. They're open to experimenting. Those we shot everything in about 5.5 days. It was a lot of fun. Right. It was a crazy 5.5 day.
Anna's a nice debut.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's coming in Fairy Tale and she's made an impression.
Yeah. No, she was great to work with. Very different look in the music video. So I'm excited for people to see that.
No, nice. And they've done all your music videos.
So they've done one music video and six visualizers.
Nice.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to it, and good luck with the album.
I have a question. We ask everybody who hears the album. If you had to choose your top 3, what would they be?
Oh, my top 3.
Or top 2 or whatever, top 1 or whatever it is.
So, Rang De, I think is really, I really loved it. There was another one I think I really like, which is like, we haven't spoken about it, but Mere Hamdam.
Yes.
I actually really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed that. I likha bhi hua hai कि it was very light. My notes tell me. It was like almost an appeal for love. And we've all been through that at some time in life where, you know, you're in love, but you're appealing, you know, let's reciprocate, you know. I mean, I'm in love, but, you know, and it's got a lot of referencing to Barish and Barsat.
So, Hamdam is my, you know, I've grown up in Karachi and we all love Karachi's monsoons. As long as the streets aren't flooded and
they always are.
But there's this thing about it, so it was like a bit of a tribute to Karachi's monsoons.
And I'm sorry, but I have to say this, that the songs that I love most are songs that reference to your dad's songs. So
that's okay. I think that is, if they do, that's an honor.
They do, and because it's talking about Bhigi Bhigi Raatein, and so Bhigi Bhigi Raaton mein, you know, it just came back to me, and it was like, you know, this is like an appeal for love. So these are my two tops.
Rang De and Hamdam.
Hamdam, yeah.
Cool.
And Rang De, of course, it's like, you know, the ultimate love.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So those what are your two favorites?
I'm numb by this point, honestly.
Okay, fine.
I think if I would, my top three would be Ma, Nadan Dil, and Rang De.
And Rang De, right?
Yeah.
Chalo, we agree on Rang De at least. Yeah, absolutely. Well, good luck.
Thank you so much.
And we shall connect again.
Inshallah.
And hopefully you'll get a really cool co-star for your next drama. And then we should talk about,
Guys, if you've known Amna ji for a while, this is her like peak sarcasm going on at this point. I'm being grilled right now.
No, why is this peak sarcasm? No, it's not peak sarcasm.
I've known you now long enough to know when you're being sarcastic.
But yeah, I mean, good luck for that as well.
Thank you. We'll hopefully meet on the hot seat after some time.
On the hot seat after some time. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Thank you.